Hi, this is Mrs. Rodriguez with another lesson video. Today we're doing subtracting decimals. Okay, so our steps for subtracting decimals. Step 1, you follow the same rules as subtracting integers. Okay, so change subtraction to addition and then change the second number's sign to its opposite. Once that's done, it becomes an addition problem. So our second step is to follow the same rules for adding integers. If the signs are the same, you add the two numbers together and you keep the same sign. So if they're both positive, you add the two decimals together and your answer will be positive. If they're both negative, you'll add the two decimals together and your answer will be negative. If the signs are different though, one's positive and one's negative, then you will subtract the two decimals and use the sign of the bigger number. And then step 3 is not so much a step as a reminder. You need to make sure to line up those decimals, because if you don't, you might not be adding or subtracting the correct numbers. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the first example. Let me choose my color. So I have 0.6 minus 8.0. So step 1, follow the same rules as subtracting integers. I have to change that subtraction to addition. So I'm going to rewrite this as 0.6, and instead of minus, I'm going to add. Then it says change the second number sign to its opposite. So this is minus 8.0, and that 8.0 is positive. So I'm going to change it to a negative. So now our problem is 0.6 plus negative 8.0. Step 2, follow the same rules for adding integers. Well, in this case, the 0.6 is positive and the negative the 8.0 is negative. So these have different signs. So because they're different signs, right? Actually, let me move that arrow. Because this is positive and this is negative, we are going to subtract the two decimals and use the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so 8.0 is bigger than 0.6. So 8's going to go on top, 8.0. And then it's going to be minus 0.6. 0 is smaller than 6, so I have to borrow from the 8. So I'm going to borrow 10 from the 8, and that'll make it 70 instead of 80. I'm going to add that 10 to the 0, so instead of 0, it becomes 10. Now remember, wherever your decimals are, we have to line them up because that's where it'll be in the answer. Okay, make sure those decimals line up. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 0 is 7. So we get 7.4. Then, after we subtract, we're supposed to use the sign of the bigger number. So if I look at 0.6 and 8.0, 8.0 is the bigger number. And it's negative. So that means my answer is going to be negative. So it'll be negative 7.4. And that's my answer. All right, let's take a look at B. B is 81.3 minus 6.75. So step 1, use the same rules for subtracting integers. So that means, let me choose some new colors. So that means I'm going to change that subtraction to addition and change the second number sign to its opposite. So 81.3, I changed the subtraction to addition, and that second number, it's minus 6.75. So that second number is positive, so I'm going to change it to negative 6.75. They have different signs, right? We're on step 2, follow the same rules for adding integers. So now it's an addition problem. They have different signs, so I'm going to subtract and use the sign of the bigger number. So 81.3 and 6.75. Remember, we got to line up those decimals. And wherever the decimal is, that's where it's going to be in the answer. And if you have any missing areas, missing numbers, you can go ahead and put zeros, okay? And we're subtracting. So 0 is smaller than 5, so we're going to have to borrow. But 3 is also smaller than 7, and 1 smaller than 6. So we're going to have to borrow all the way from the 8. So the 8 will become a 7, okay? The 1's going to become a 10. The 3 is going to become a 12, and the 10 will become a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 12 minus 7 is 5. 10 minus 6 is 4, and 7 minus 0 is 7. Don't forget, we need to use the sign of the bigger number. In this case, 81.3 is the bigger number. It's positive, so my answer will be a positive 74.55. And that's my answer. Okay, so that's how you subtract decimals. As always, well, before I wrap it up, I just want to point out, in these problems, if the second number was negative, to switch it to a positive, it would look like this. Let's say I have 72.3, okay, and I'm subtracting 9.42. If that second number is a negative, it will have a negative sign. So you're either going to see two negatives like this, or you will see something like this. In case you were wondering, what does it look like if that second number is negative? Well, if that second number is negative, it'll look like this. And then when you go to do the problem, you still change it to addition, but now that second number is going to become a positive as well. Okay? Or you can write it like this. Or you can still put that little plus sign there if it makes you feel better. Okay, so I just wanted to show you an example of what it would look like if that second number was a negative. Okay, if there is no negative sign, double negative sign in the problem, then that means that second number is positive, like that 6.75 you see on the screen. All right, as always, if you have any questions or if you need further help or assistance, please come visit me during office hours. Hope you have a great day.